Yo, what's good, everybody? Bren here. Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, April 21st. Been about a week since we did a stream. Been kind of not very consistent with the Tuesdays and Fridays streams, but as the market heats up here, we'll get back to it. But hope everybody, like I said, is having an amazing Tuesday. Lots to talk about today. NFTs are absolutely ripping as crypto's kind of been a little stagnant the last few weeks. But big news today with the ceasefire between Iran and U.S. actually being extended. We'll talk about what the charts are saying, as well as what I think may happen over the next few weeks and way I think the war might accelerate before getting better. But lots of other shit to talk about today. Actually doing something new today. Actually, if you guys are tuning in from the Telegram, for the first time, we're actually, what's it called? Multi-streaming straight to the Telegram Bossman calls. If you guys aren't already in there, you should be. Link is in the bio. Bossman and myself have been working together on the channel for 3 years. Joined up with him in, November of 2023, somewhere around there, at 300 members. And now we've grown, the channel to 40,000 plus members from all over the world. 20 of you guys, it looks like, are watching on the Telegram right now. So shout out to all of you. I don't think there's a chat in the Telegram, but if you guys do want to be a part of the conversation and be in the chat, definitely pull up to Twitter. But I appreciate everybody for being here today. We're going to talk about a lot of good stuff. As you guys can see, the setup on ETH that I have up here, that I just switched to, is very interesting. Obviously, I think in the short term, things are looking pretty bullish, but we'll talk about why this setup here on the higher time frames, at least right now, is looking very similar to what we saw in January until we break above 2,800. But yeah, if you guys are tuning in from X, if you guys could like, comment, retweet, share, and then let me know two things in the chat. One, where you're tuning in from, and then two, if this is your first time in the stream, or you've been here before. Right now I see Rojam, Juicy, Crypto Carl, Crypto with Carl in the chat. Rojam says afternoon, y'all. What's up, Rojam? Crypto with Carl says yo. Soul TA / Weld Meme / Trenches overall. Awesome. Let me know also if you guys, Dookie, I see you from the Telegram. 23 people hanging out in the Telegram too. Shout out to you guys if you're just pulling up. We are multi-streaming from X and Telegram. Going to talk about everything going on today in crypto. NFTs actually popping off. Let me know in the chat what you guys. What's up, MD? I'll shoot you a DM after the stream. Let me know. What are your thoughts on the market? What have you guys been up to? Have you guys been super active? You've been. The trenches, which we'll talk about today. A lot of coins, including. What's it called? Asteroid, or I'm sorry. What's it called? Freaking I completely blanked. This coin right here will pull up. There's a bunch of the trench coins and the lower cap coins, newer coins, actually seeing a lot of follow through, over 10, 20, 50, 100 million, which I think is a good sign. But what we really want to see here is Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol really pull away to really accelerate more of a stronger bull run, at least in the short term. But before that, oh wow, I see the Telegram thing here. That's actually sick. Lucky says, how's it going, my bro? I'm doing amazing, dude. Can't complain. It's been a slow last few months, obviously, for crypto, heating up a little bit, but I've been really prioritizing the health, and a bunch of other stuff. So it's been a good time, but excited for the future and excited for what, like I said, I titled in the stream here, what I think is kind of the sweet spot for digital assets. It may not seem like that. Obviously, it's been super, kind of slow over the last few months, but I think crypto's kind of in that perfect sweet spot where the institutions are like all in on tokenization, all in on Ethereum, digital wallets, stable coins, RWA, all that different stuff. We have, interest rates gonna have to come down in the near future. Probably gonna start some type of quantitative easing because that's kind of what the systems run on. All these different factors in one, very bullish, and then the fundamentals. Obviously, the war is going on right now, right? You probably want to get over that hump probably before we do get a bull run. Maybe not, but the short term, obviously a lot of confusion in that, but the long term fundamentals have never been better for crypto. And I think we're going to see adoption of blockchain. We're going to see adoption of digital wallets, which is going to have way more people collecting digital collectibles, buying meme coins, NFTs, all this different shit. But at the same time, prices are still down. I mean, we have Bitcoin, the fucking biggest of them all, still down, almost 50%. It's down, what, 30, 40%. So we have the fundamentals so obvious. The future is so bright for crypto, yet prices are still down. This is the biggest sweet spot. You'll be looking back at this time 2, 3, 5 years ago, wishing you would have gotten, made more money so that you could have poured all your money into crypto at this time. I really think that's what it's going to look like. Of course, that doesn't mean we don't go down one more time. I'm just talking about looking back in 3 or 4 years from now, whether we go down one more time or bottom out here. This period is going to be a time where, people would have wished they bought more. But with that being said, Bitcoin is still hovering right at this 75K level. Again, very crucial 2-3 month high here. Just like we saw this setup here in November, December, Bitcoin consolidated, came right above that consolidation, faked a lot of people out, came back down, and then fell to a new low. Bitcoin is really at a big crossroads here, sitting here right now, and a very similar setup that we saw here, back in January. It's either going to do two things. It's going to confirm the same setup we saw in January, where it's barely going above, and then come back down for a new low. Obviously, what would that come with? Thinking logically, probably the war accelerating, probably the ceasefire ending, more acceleration by the US or Iran. Maybe oil goes up, all that different stuff. I could see that happening. Or, the second scenario is Bitcoin instead does what people aren't expecting, doesn't fulfill the same setup, and then just runs higher instead, produces a move back to 90, 100K. I think either way, whether, either one of these happens, we're going to see soon some fireworks, whether that be a big reversal back to the downside or a really big confirmation to the upside, which again, I do think confirms, which then would produce, I think, a bigger bounce, at least to the 90s. And then who knows, back to all-time highs is always possible. Got to take it by year. Now, what do I think, which scenario is more likely? Chart-wise, it literally could go either way. I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that this setup is looking very similar to January. Not only just, again, coming right back above the 2 or 3 month high, but the fact of how slow and choppy this move up has been. Usually slow, choppy moves up, and the reason why in hindsight this move down, or this correction in January for Bitcoin was so obvious, was how choppy in nature it was. It went up, kind of slow, choppy move up, not a powerful long-term reversal move like we see on something like this, where we go back to all-time highs. We're seeing very similar price action here. As you can see, Bitcoin is going up, but it's in this slow, choppy channel-like structure, which a lot of times points to the move up being short-lived before you go back to the downside. But I want to go do a quick reset. I want to do a few resets during this show because this is the first time we are multi-streaming into the Telegram. Usually just do streams, on X and YouTube, but today figured out how to live stream and multi-stream straight to the Telegram at the same time, which is great. So if you guys are watching from the Boss Man Calls Telegram channel, shout out to you. Hope everybody's having a great day, night, wherever you're at. If you want to join the conversation in the chat, definitely come and hang out with us on X. I posted the link in the Telegram as well, so definitely check that out. Dang. Actually, I didn't even post the post in the Telegram. Wow, hold on. Let me do that really quick. But again, while I'm doing that, let me know if you guys are just pulling up. Let me know where you're tuning in from and whether this is your first time in the stream. Also, let me know what you think about Bitcoin. Are you bullish, bearish? You think you think the war accelerates? Let me know. So if you want to join the Telegram, or you want to join the conversation in the chat on X, I just posted the link in the Telegram channel right now. So definitely come over here if you want to join the conversation. Mergalicious says, "Yo, Brent, hope you're good, dude. Yeah, I'm doing really well, man. Hope you're doing well. Is doing great as well." But back to Bitcoin, and the reason why we can go to the ETH chart too. ETH is actually, like I talked about at the top of the show, is an actually pretty interesting setup here as well. Again, right now, ETH is looking very, very similar to the January setup. And again, for everybody who's like, oh, this is just chart stuff. You know, the common question that I always get, last time we did a VC in the Telegram channel, somebody asked, doesn't TA bullshit, like, it can't Trump just tweet something out tomorrow and it just like invalidates every technical analysis out there? While there's validity in a Trump tweet coming out of nowhere or something like that completely changing things very fast, what I've found time and time again is these news events and these big things that play out almost always fall in line with corrective and impulsive structures, stuff that we talk about here. I agree. Fibonacci levels, support and resistance, a lot of this, more mainstream stuff is completely invalidated by news. But what I found, again, the stuff that I particularly look at, again, this is just me and my experience over the last few years using this kind of methodology, is that oftentimes you'll see a big correction set up, and then whatever news event is what either accelerates or starts the big move, where the correction was kind of almost predicting or preceding the actual move, which was pushed by the news. And I know that sounds crazy. It's like, oh, like my technical analysis like predicts the future for news. It's not always perfect like that. A lot of the times you'll find news doesn't even create the actual move. News most of the time is going to just create chop up and down. But yeah, what I would say though is, again, corrective behavior never lies. And as you can see here, ETH came up, started chopping up. It definitely went up from 2,800 to 33. I personally thought it was going to go to 37, maybe 4,000 before probably coming down, but came back down. It came in this choppy corrective structure, and then all of a sudden came back down out of it, and then from there it was gone. I have this circle drawn here because this, if you were to short or you were to want to get out or position yourself, this would be the place to do it. Once Bitcoin breaks out of its corrective structure, and for future knowledge, again, if we do get this move down that I think is possible for ETH here, this would be the equivalent of that. This would be the safe entry if you were looking for a short or maybe to kind of scale out of things. I would look here if and when Ethereum breaks down out of this corrective channel structure here. That's usually the sign or more of a safe entry before the real kind of collapse or big move happens. Just like the same here, you could have gotten in for a long here once it broke out of this bigger corrective structure. But yeah, does that mean this is going to happen for sure? No, but what I will say is I do think this is very convincing corrective behavior on the higher time frames. And very often, time and time again, these corrective structures lead to continuation in whatever direction is the bigger trend. And right now, since September 25th, the bigger quote-unquote trend or impulse or whatever is to the downside. I think what's possible is we either retest 1,700 on the way down here if we do get a move down, or potentially touch the low 1,000s, really spook people out. Maybe that comes with a big war, recession, oil spiking. I would be a huge buyer of a lot of digital assets down in this level. And again, I think this will be a period where people look back in 5-10 years from now and think, oh, fuck, why did I not get a second job and pour everything I could into Bitcoin, ETH, whatever else? I mean, just for me, the one time I can think of that is like in 2013, I learned about I was 20, maybe it was 2014, I don't remember. It was either I was still in high school or just out of high school, and was hanging out at my buddy's dad's apartment, and his older brother was living there too, and he came through and was just telling us, oh, this Bitcoin mining thing. He wasn't even talking about the coin, he was talking about mining. And at the time, it was only Bitcoin and Litecoin were the only two coins, available. Ethereum wasn't even out yet, and I at the time I was like fucking around doing whatever. I remember looking back at that time and thinking, I wish I'd have dropped out of high school or whatever, got a full time job, and just poured everything into Bitcoin when it was at like $100. Obviously, it's not as dramatic here, but think about Ethereum is down 75% for the last 4 or 5 years. If Ethereum really is this big blockchain that all these different institutions and companies are going to be using, I think 1700 is laughably low for what it's going to be in 5 or 10 years from now. So, short term, if and when we do chop up here and maybe some type of war acceleration news happens and Bitcoin does break below 2400, I think there's a good shot that we do go lower. What would invalidate this setup is probably going to be something like this, where a war peace deal comes out or something of that nature comes out, and instead of like continuing to chop upwards, it just sends right through that thing and gives us a move right back to like 3000. If it gave us like an impulsive move to the upside where it just busts right through this channel, that would invalidate this setup. But again, I think what's most likely here with everything going on, I still lean towards this setup probably playing out to how we saw in January, where we probably come down. Now, that doesn't mean we have to see a new low for ETH, or for Bitcoin. We could come down and retest this low, and this just forms a big double bottom, and we just go higher from there. That is always possible. And if we were to see that setup play out, this would actually be a very strong bottoming signal, like a bottom structure, really, because again, this would be a 2 or 3 month low that got retested, didn't break. Oftentimes, that's a sign that we're seeing a longer term bottom here. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I would not be surprised to see ETH come back up and then come back down one more time later on into this year. And that's really just a chart thing. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the war. Obviously, you have these guys like Professor Jang, and other guys who think that there's no possibility that this thing is going to accelerate. We're going to see like a big, ground invasion and all that good shit. Not good shit, but all that shit. Hold on, give me 1 second. Sorry, somebody called me. My bad. But yeah, I don't know. Nobody knows what's happening with the war, but again, the chart I think is telling me. I think the chart is saying a good possibility that we get at least a retest of 1900, if not lower. Invalidation would be, again, just a big green candle straight through 3000. Again, that probably comes with some type of peace deal or whatever. So, yep, definitely looking at this to see what happens next. Either way, I think we're going to see fireworks, either a big reversal to the downside or a big fat green candle. Either way, I'm interested to see what happens. But the really what I think matters is 6 to 12 months from now, I think everything's way higher. Bitcoin, ETH, everything. And this time, I think we see real adoption of the technology and stuff like NFTs and stuff as well. So I'm going to exit out of this. I'm just looking at the channel. Hope a deal can be made. Appreciate everybody for sharing. If you guys could like, comment, retweet the stream as well. We've been usually do the streams Tuesdays and Fridays. Been a little inconsistent at times on the Friday streams, but we're getting back to it. For those of you who haven't been tuning into the Twitter Spaces, did I just exit out? Oh, we're good. For those of you who have not been tuning into the Twitter Spaces, you definitely should. I've been running about 2 Twitter Spaces a week as well on top of the streams, with one of them being Hem and Bren's Alpha Den, where we talk about like general NFTs, crypto, Web3, we've been having some cool founders and stuff on as well, but we've been having big discussions, 75, 80 people on last week at a time. We had Bark from Dogeable Dogs, pull up at the end. It was great. And just having general discussions about everything crypto, NFTs, Web3, stuff we talk about on this space, but it gives the opportunity for a lot of you guys in the chat, maybe who are in the chat typing or who are watching and might want to come say what's up or ask a question live. So definitely pull up to that. And then Monday, I'm running more of a VFriends space, which obviously an NFT project where I'm talking to great people in that community because it's obviously one that I'm super kind of passionate about, but also talking general Web3, NFT, crypto, collecting stuff as well. So definitely look out for those Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 p.m. EST. Would definitely love to talk and meet a lot of you guys on there. But yeah, the ceasefire I think got extended for another. Hold on, look at my text. The ceasefire got extended until, let's see. Trump's Iran ceasefire is extended indefinitely while the blockade stays in place until Tehran submits a unified proposal. Trump says statement of Presidential Donald Trump's based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not expectedly so. Attack on the country of Iran will such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I've therefore directed our military to continue the blockade. So essentially, they're just continuing the blockade and having a extend the ceasefire indefinitely. So I don't know. I don't know what happens. They were supposed to. Vance was supposed to go to Pakistan today to do some negotiations. That didn't happen. It's officially put on hold. Crude oil started spiking, and then S&P 500 actually closed down 0.5% today. But since the market closed, we have now gotten that statement from Trump that the ceasefire has been extended. Honestly, all of this is so brand new, to most of us. It's obviously really tough to keep up and call. I think that the number one thing is if we do get lower prices, just fucking buy that shit. Again, looking back 2 to 3, 5 years from now, you're gonna be happy you did, but just not sweat the short term. Really, I think this thing could go either way. I think you could have peace tomorrow, or this thing extends. I tend to just my feeling and looking at the charts and like everything in total, I think what's probably going to happen is either you get a stalemate for a long time, which could create a lot of volatility, or you get an acceleration in the war. I think it's less likely that we get some type of peace deal right away. But again, who knows? I hope that's what happens. So the bull run's ignited tomorrow, but I'd rather talk about what I'm seeing in the markets always instead of like what I want to happen, right? And right now, until these structures are broken on Bitcoin and ETH, and we do get some type of definite peace talks, peace deal or something, I think what's most likely is some type of move. I think the next big kind of move is going to be the downside, just me personally. So again, my bags are packed. I'm ready to go for this bull run either way. I've been adding and accumulating for months while we've been down here, but would be happy to buy some lower prices if they give it to us. Paco, what's up, bro? But yeah, ceasefire. They didn't have the Pakistan stuff. NFTs have been. Let's get into NFTs really quick. NFTs have been absolutely ripping been pretty strong the last few weeks. You see apes dominating. For those of you guys probably remember, my screen's good, right? Okay, good. The apes and Pudgies were neck and neck, with Pudgies actually pulling ahead. It is a different story. We see. Sorry, guys, this is being a little slow on me. We see the Bored Ape Yacht Club with 8.4 ETH, while Pudgies have been struggling at 4.4, staying pretty stagnant. CryptoPunks up 8%. We still have CPudgies up 4%, 20% up on G's Apes. We see a lot of these projects start to creep up slowly. Right now, it's really concentrated in the Yuga assets, of course, but like we've seen in the past, usually it's a Yuga or Pudgies that go up, and then everything else kind of, you know, goes with it, right? Now, Hemdog and I, my buddy Hemdog, who I run the Twitter Spaces with, he's been on the stream with me, great friend of mine. I really like his thesis about NFTs, that it is NFTs at the end of the day are digital pictures, and communities and access and all this different stuff. But at the end of the day, they are just another kind of altcoin, right? They're another type of speculative crypto asset. And speculative crypto assets do better when ETH is doing good, right? When ETH is up and strong and thriving, that's usually when you see money start pouring into these smaller coins. What did we see when ETH went up last year, and went on this nice run from 1400 on to 45? We saw NFTs go on a nice run. We saw Pudgies go from 4 to 15, ETH, Bored Ape Yacht Club go from, I don't know, whatever, to 15 ETH as well, whatever they were at. We saw VFriends go from 0.7 to like almost 2 ETH. I think I do buy into kind of Hemdog's thesis that once ETH is nearing all-time highs and especially makes new all-time highs, we're going to see NFTs, we're going to start to see NFTs start to pull away and actually have like a sustained bull market. Now, also what could very help the bull market as well on NFTs is some type of mainstream catalyst, whether that be Rolex or any of these big companies using NFT technology, or some type of game using NFT technology to verify or use in some type of way. That also could do a lot of the work in onboarding and igniting a bull run. Now, if somehow we get both of those things, ETH going to all-time highs and then some type of NFT mainstream catalyst, also could be like Pokemon or one of these big companies launching a digital collection with NFTs, something like that. If we get the combination of ETH going to all-time highs plus some type of mainstream tech catalyst, I think that ignites a much bigger bull run than we've ever seen before. And I still stand on that. I think the next NFT bull run, just like the second crypto bull run, is going to be much bigger than the first. And this time is going to come with real adoption and people actually, not just adoption. That's like a real buzzword, right? Like adoption. But I think big companies are going to come out of it. The VFriends, the Pudgies, the Apes, whatever else, that are going to go way out of the small crypto niche and actually touch the mainstream millions of people around the world type of thing. VFriends is my biggest bet. I think that's the one that's best set up to be an actual IP with 250 characters and storylines and a founder that I think is the best proven business person in Web3, as far as like building real world businesses, when Gary Vaynerchuk, and I think it's just the best built one. Of course, it's not the cool thing on crypto Twitter, obviously, but I think a lot of the stuff that ends up being crazy is not the cool stuff at first. So yeah, NFTs are strong. Azuki under an ETH still, I think, is pretty crazy. Quirkies at an ETH still holding strong. We got Good Vibe Clubs at 0.6. And let's see. All right. Sorry, guys. My fucking Wi-Fi is completely cooked. If you're still on here, just went out. I was trying to reconnect. Wow, the stream stayed on. All right, yeah, that just stopped the stream in its tracks. I apologize. Look. Sorry, guys. My fucking Wi-Fi is completely cooked. If you're still on here, let's see. X. What happened to the chat? Oh shit. Okay, cool. Wojak or Vnox says, I agree with you, Bren. The best thing to do is buy and hold regardless of market conditions, because once digital assets get fully adopted, you'd be holding a lot of assets you bought at a discount. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, sorry, Lucky. I apologize. My Wi-Fi was fucking up. But yeah, guys. I think over the next few weeks, we see what I think is going to happen is Bitcoin's going to climb, or ETH's going to climb up one more time and either confirm a third or fourth high in this channel and go lower. I'm still leaning towards that being 60-70%. Or it's going to power right through this channel and go to 3,000 and really kind of disprove this bearish setup. But for now, oh fuck, I'm not sharing my shit. But for now, I think we're going to see ETH. I think we're seeing ETH in that same setup that we saw in January, that I think still has a 60-70% likelihood of playing out the same way. That doesn't mean we make a new all-time low or a new $1,500 low or anything like that. We could see a lower high at 2,000, something like that, and then go lower. But I think the short-term, mid to short-term kind of price structure is pointing towards this being pretty corrective, and I would not be surprised to see another leg lower. But so much happening with the war, we kind of just have to wait and see what happens. That's just kind of how I'm seeing things right now. Let's see. Oh, wow. That's cool. Thread guys having Kobe on right now.
Human level proficiency. So like, yeah, Shoku annoys me quite a lot because like he's just like better than me at everything, and I find that annoying. Like, yeah.
What is the common thread between all of these people? All these people that have really done it trading. I guess we'll use crypto because we're talking about crypto. Like, what is the common thread between all of them, if there is one? Maybe not the ones that have blown up, but the ones that have kept it.
Just want to watch a few minutes of this.
How do you make $100 million in crypto?
I think that like common thread amongst all of them is that they are highly like self-directed. They like, these people read crypto Twitter and then like go, ooh, what trade am I going to make based on like what other people have written on the internet, right? They're all highly opinionated and like self-directed, and they just think through these things themselves from first principles. Like, what impact do I think this thing will have on the markets and why? And then like they record what they thought and then what the outcome was, and they try and AI, right? You want to increase training data for yourself so that you can like learn what you did right, what you did wrong, and why, and then you can improve for next time. And all of these people have that. It's like they're like curious and like creative and first principles thinkers, and also have this recursive loop of upgrading their like mental model on the world. I
definitely need to watch this after the stream. This is good. For those of you guys that know Kobe,
the people
I know a lot of people
that
probably
have blown up
in to crypto Twitter the last few years from meme coins or something else, NFTs or whatever. Probably meme coins. You might not know who Kobe is. He's an OG in the space. Been around. I don't know why my computer's so slow. Been around probably since 2013, 2014. Crazy lore. You know, he's, you know, whatever. You can look it up, but definitely check him out. Again, the most I've learned in the space is from people who have just been around fucking doing it for a long time. But let's see. Let's let this load. Let's go ahead and look at some of the meme coins that have been actually popping off the last few weeks as well. Is the stream still going on? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, if you guys are hanging out in the Telegram, I did take a little bit of a break there for a second. My Wi-Fi was acting up. But for the first time today, we are streaming the X stream that we normally do every Tuesday and Fridays most of the time on X. We are multi-streaming straight to the Telegram today. So if you are watching here, welcome. Hope everybody's having a great day, night, whatever, wherever you're at. But let's go ahead and look at Asteroid. Has been going absolutely insane. And this is bullish for many reasons. Whenever you see big coins like this, go from whatever this was, 1900 all the way to 19 million, which is like a 10,000x, whatever that was, in a matter of a few days, pull back and then make another 10x. That's a pretty bullish sign for the industry in total. The meme coin trenches, whatever you want to call it, in total, when you see multiple waves like this, instead of like what we've seen the last few months or the last year, really, is you'll get 100K runners and they die out, 200K runners, maybe a million, maybe the occasional 5 mil runner. But the fact that we're getting a 20K to a 3 mil runner, and then that same 3 mil or 8 mil runner, whatever, goes to 100 mil, that's usually a sign that the overall market is bubbling up, and that's when we start to see the overall market pop off. A lot of the older coins like MOG, SPX, Giga go 5, 6, 7x usually, and the overall market pops up. Usually a big sign of that starting to bubble up is what we're seeing right now in these meme coins. So let me know in the chat if you guys are still here. Again, I know a lot of people probably, I was gone for a second there, but if in the chat, let me know if you're still here, if you traded Asteroid or if any of these smaller coins. I think this is a good sign. Again, what we need to see though is Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol really have some follow through to the upside. And if we do break through this channel and go to like 3K, I think that's what we're going to start to see. MOG, SPX, Giga, these older coins, Troll, USDUC, a lot of these start to go crazy. But then the overall trenches and the smaller market cap coins, I think will start to do really well. So I think we're really on that borderline kind of crucial level right now where we're either going to reverse to the downside hard or confirm a bigger move up. Either way, we're kind of like really in that pressure point. I think we're going to see some fireworks either way over the next few weeks. My kind of overall feel is I think we could get up and move up in the short term with kind of this seemingly like peace that's happening right now where nothing's really happening. But I think the charts and the overall structure is pointing to another move down, more likely, maybe 60 to 70% likelihood, in my opinion, that we do get a move down based on this kind of chart structure and kind of what I'm feeling from what's going on fundamentally and everything with oil, which we actually haven't looked at yet. Oil is in a super interesting structure as well, seemingly put in a nice double top, came down, but is now reclaiming this $86 low. If ETH does make that, ETH and Bitcoin do make those tops and come down, I could see something like this for oil. And that's actually what I said in a Telegram here a few weeks ago, that what I would like to see for oil to go back up is it would need to consolidate or kind of chop above this $86 low for a bit here, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then head higher. I think there's a strong possibility of that's what we see here play out. So yeah, if we do see oil spike and the war accelerates, I would not be surprised to see a new all-time high on oil. And that would be the kind of, this is kind of what's having me lean towards Bitcoin seeing a, one more move down potentially because of all these different things we're seeing in oil looking like it may be kind of short-term bottomed. The S&P 500, I don't necessarily think is super bearish by any means. I think this is a super bullish structure as of it is right now. But let's just say I could see 7K low then I could see something like that kind of play out as well. Again, not as obvious as Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, in their bearish structure, kind of market structures, but I would not put this out of the realm of possibility. Maybe not even down to 63, but into 68, something like that. But we shall see. We shall see. I think at any time we could get some type of like acceleration in the war. I really hope it doesn't happen, but I think there's going to be a stalemate here. And does the stalemate result in peace, or does it result in acceleration? I guess what we'll have to see.
I wasn't worried about it at all until I went to the dentist. And my dentist was like, "Own any stocks?" And I was like, "Really, dude? I don't know very much about investing." And he was like, "Oh, have you heard about MicroStrategy?" And I was like, "Fuck, dude." And this dude, he's like in his like 70s, and he's like, "I own 2 stocks. Like 80% of my portfolio is in MicroStrategy, and 20% of it's in Palantir." And like,
Ooh.
I've got to fucking change dentist now, dude. Right? Like, I can't go to the. This guy's very strange judgment.
You got to reach our dentist,
That was the first time I was like, okay. Like, this is like kind of broke containment in a way that like people like only people that cared about MicroStrategy were like people on crypto Twitter and like people that used to have laser eye profile pictures or something. And I was like, this is a person in the real world. Sometimes I think crypto doesn't actually exist in the real world. Like, it's just, I might be like completely delusional and I've made all this stuff up and I just go home and I sit at home and like completely psychotic, and I like crypto is just entirely like a fantastical like hallucinogenic trip I'm having, and then I go into the real world and it might not be real. So then I was confronted by like, oh no, yeah, Bitcoin is a real thing that other people know about.
Yeah, crazy. Man, oh yeah, freaking the Mog guys actually got a collab with the Pit Vipers. Obviously, Pit Vipers have been the Mog like kind of mascot or whatever, dog whistle or whatever you want to call it, that represents Mog. And then now they actually got a collab with the Pit Vipers, which I think is sick. I need to get me one of these. But yeah, I don't know. I'm bullish on Mog. It doesn't look the best versus stuff like SPX. I think SPX is just such an obvious buy right now. The only reason SPX doesn't go up is if the meme coin category is just completely dead, and I just do not see that playing out completely. I think it's lived through so many cycles already, and I think meme coins or on-chain trading, whatever whatever it's called at the time. I know it's always kind of morphing and changing. I think that creating coins based on moments and people and movements especially are going to continue to only grow from here. I'm super bullish on tokenized communities becoming a bigger thing in the future, where people rally around ideas and companies and different ideas, again, movements, companies around a token or a shared kind of financial upside in tokens, whether it be NFTs or meme coins. I'm a big believer that has only gotten started. As the world becomes more digital, we become more connected. A lot of people are, looking for meaning and a place to belong. I think these digital collectibles, NFT communities, meme coin, movement communities are going to serve that purpose, and for that reason, a lot of these coins are going to go way higher. And I think SPX is the most obvious of them all right now, other than when it comes to movement coins, I think are most obvious of them all. And stuff like SPX is actually having me maybe like not lean towards, but really see the kind of the bull case because of these nice consolidations they've been having through 3 or 4 or 5 months. And yeah, I don't know. I think SPX might rip here, or at least rip in the coming months. And I think it's one of the most obvious 5 to 10x's here easily, just back to all-time highs, and probably way beyond. This is the biggest correction of SPX's history, even bigger than this one that I had. Oh wait, this isn't even. This isn't even a old chart for SPX. There's older ones for sure. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the OG one. 6 months, 1 month, 1 year. Where's the old one? Where's the multi-year one? 2 years, 4 months. So this is the entire history for MOG, yeah, or I mean SPX. So yeah, this is the biggest correction SPX has ever had in its history. Really, I guess this one in December of 2023 was about as big, but not really. Yeah, this is the biggest correction, but it's still up to 30x off of the Murad lows in August of 24. So I think big moves up, big bull markets always come with big moves down and big bear markets too. It's just the yin and the yang, and it is no different with meme coins. I think SPX is extremely obvious. I'm accumulating a lot. It's at that nice place where it's a $300 million coin, but I still think it has 5-10x potential easily back to all-time highs. Again, SPX dies here if meme coins die in general, and I don't think that happens. Yo, what's up, Affinity? What's up, Miss D? How you doing? It's nice to see you here. Watch from the sidelines. But did you look into USD? Yeah. USDUC has staking now that you can stake or essentially stake your USDUC for yield, which is pretty cool. I think it's like, at least it was 15%. No, it's not stake. It's yield. I think it'd be USDUC yield would be the better. But yeah, you can stake your USDUC for, I forgot what percent. I think it was like 15%, right? Where is it? Why is this not? I saw Twitter's freaking not discover, like the search function is ass sometimes, man. But appreciate everybody liking, comment, retweeting, sharing the streams. Always appreciated. I know we've been let's see. Oop, I just closed Bitcoin. But it'll be interesting to see where the market opens tomorrow with the ceasefire extended. I wouldn't be surprised to see the market float higher. But we're really in these crucial kind of bearish corrective structures to where I think there's a good shot that we do come back down one more time. Obviously, you see Benjamin Cowan. You see Benjamin Cowan and other people still think we're going to come down. Let's see, Bitcoin. What'd you say? Huh? Yeah. Can you hear? Can you hear this? Oh, fuck, I'm not. All right, yeah. It's fine. You wouldn't know, but fucking, I meant to share this.
And now that we're below it, it doesn't mean that this is an outright rejection just yet.
Yeah, we're not going to watch the whole video, but he's still putting out the case again, kind of what I'm saying, that I think there's probably more downside before upside again. Bear structure, a lot of stuff going on with the war, could up in the air, but I think there's a good shot things accelerate before they get better, unfortunately. That's kind of my take. DXY, again, it seems pretty monotonous until we get a bull run. A lot of times it's going to be looking at these main charts, right? That USD 100 again, and just like S&P 500 and others, if we come back down around 26,000, I think it comes lower. But yeah, with that, guys, not much else going on. I think we really need to, pay attention to these structures on ETH. And if you're still in this chat today, I would really be sick if come tomorrow, if you'd like to come and say what's up, hang out. I am running a Twitter space here on Twitter. I'll put up the announcement here today so you can RSVP so you get the notification. But we'll be talking everything crypto, NFTs, Web3. Last week we talked a mixture of interest rates and NFTs and all these different things in one. Great discussions. Like I said, 80 or 90 people up there last time. Plan is to continue to grow not only these streams like this, but these Twitter spaces. We're able to hold discussions with people from all the different types of communities in Web3 and crypto and talk about these different things. A lot of times these different spaces, there'll be like a Pudgy space or this space or whatever. I'm trying to, kind of put everything together into one kind of place where people can kind of hang out regardless of whatever they're into. So definitely look out for that. Would love to talk and hear from a lot of you guys. We've been doing giveaways on most streams. Yesterday's kind of VFriend space, I gave away this Brave Bison Series 2, which I bought off the floor for like 0.20. But, the floor of the VF1s is like 0.07 right now. Is worth, 150, 180 bucks. Be doing more cool giveaways, more cool discussions. So definitely look out for the Twitter spaces. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss them. And then continue to stay tuned for these streams. Again, it's been a little slow the last few months. Obviously, not much to talk about except the war and some good price action. But everything's kind of coming around. If you guys remember the streams from last year, we hit Pengu, White Whale, USDUC, Pump, all of these coins together on stream days and weeks before they took off and yielded amazing gains. I think the same thing's going to happen when the bull run heats up again. It's just about two things. It's about accumulating the great coins right now if you have dry powder and just staying patient. Don't fuck yourself up. Don't overtrade. Don't throw all your money trying to make something happen in the trenches. Just call your shots, and be picky and patient during these times, and then go hard when the bear comes back around. The bull comes back around. So with that, guys, not much too much else to say or go over. I think we kind of hit everything. Make sure to turn on post notifications. Look out for the Twitter spaces Mondays, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. EST. Streams like this Tuesdays and Fridays, 1 p.m. PST. And any suggestions, any guests you want to see me have on, anything like that, always open to, feedback from everybody. And let me go ahead and check the chat, make sure anything I didn't miss. Good session. Appreciate you, Carl. Appreciate you for being here, sir. Until next time. Yeah, definitely see you guys next time. Again, Friday for the next stream. Paco, appreciate you being here. And I hope everybody's being safe. Stay safe during this time. If you're struggling right now, feel like crypto is super popping, that was your whole identity, and then now you feel like not shit's going on, it will come back. And this is the time to get everything else dialed. Like I said, I've been really getting my health dialed. Obviously, you guys can't see my fucking face, not yet. We're on the. I've said this a few times, but actually, I'll have all the equipment and literally just setting up actually the first phase stream here before the end of the month. So super excited to get that done. But my point in saying that is, I've been really prioritizing the health. This time last year, I was probably 35, 40 pounds heavier, really just maxing. I was crypto and, gain maxing with crypto, but we really was just neglecting the health. But since then, I feel more better than ever. And prioritizing the gym, all that good stuff, while, things are kind of slow. That's what I would encourage everybody else to do. Whatever, area of your life that you think you can work on, do it when things are calm, whether that's health for you, your fucking relationships, social life, get those things dialed in while things are slow. Cause we all know when crypto heats up again, that's all we're going to be thinking about. So, when Doc's arc during the next all-time high, yeah, I'm going to time it just with the Bitcoin all-time high. That'd be crazy. No, it's a long story. I've been meaning to do it for a while. There's been just a lot of just the last few months have just been crazy to say the least. But I'm super excited to do it, and it's gonna. I think it's just the next. It's gonna allow me to do so much more different content. It'll allow me to make TikTok and Instagram content that's not just faceless shit. That's able to stop the scroll and really get people's attention so they can hear the message and all that different stuff. That's what I'm excited about. I think it'll take everything to the next level and really build a brand based off of me, the fucking person, and not a fucking PFP. Nothing wrong with the non-accounts. I think non-accounts are some of the most strongest, biggest accounts on crypto Twitter. I just think with the type of thing that I'm trying to do, get to the next level on all these different platforms, kind of reach out of the crypto kind of bubble, I think doing the face stuff is the move. So excited for that. But with that being said, I will see you guys on Friday. Obviously tomorrow, 7 p.m. for the Twitter space, Monday for the next one after that, and then Friday for the next stream. But with that, hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Be safe. And I'll see you on the next one.